Hey, Philosophix here, and today I'm just going to introduce some tools that I think are essential as an ALT, some really awesome advice that I hope helps you, and yeah, that's about it. So let's just get started. Okay, the first and most essential tool that I think you could ever buy, because I use this on a daily basis, and I mean every single day, is the Clear File. The Clear File you can buy in packs of 10 for about 80 cents each. I recommend buying about 200 for a full year of school. It kind of depends on the number of grades you teach. I teach 4, 5, and 6. I recommend myself buying 150 for the whole year, and I should be good with that number. It's also just in case you lose any and all that stuff. If you're teaching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I recommend, 250, maybe just 200 is fine. I don't know, random numbers, just whatever you need. What else? All right, so why are these awesome? You basically just use these to make your new vocab words presentable. Because let's say you just printed a piece of paper. You have to cycle through these, show them the words over and over again, and it's doing this the whole time. Like, wow, that looks really unimpressive. As opposed to holding a bunch of these, makes it easier to hold, very rigid. You can kind of move them around like this and it doesn't, destroy the form entirely. These are so good too, because no matter how blemished they get, once you put an image inside, because they're all blemished like that, bam, it's invisible. You can't see a thing. See? It's wonderful. Show new words with this. Once you're done with one lesson and you never need the picture again, just take the picture out. Then put a new picture in. Keep the same cards. It's very beneficial. It's very cost effective. Let's say you wanted to laminate everything. It's gonna, one, your school's gonna yell at you if you use their laminating stuff, and laminating is pretty expensive. I wouldn't recommend ever doing that unless it's like, you're laminating playing cards for a lesson, like country flags, and you make a bunch of country flags for them to use for a game, then yeah, you can laminate those. And I don't recommend laminating too much if the school is in a very nonchalant way of saying poor. If they're poor, they're gonna start like monitoring your spending habits. You're not actually spending anything, but they'll be like, "Wow, you're printing a lot in color," or "Oh, you're laminating a lot of stuff. Can you not do that?" They might ask you. I've been asked before at one of my schools. I teach at 3 to not print too much in color, so I just print in color at a different school. Actually, this school. So. Yeah, so something about clear files is that if you're going to present vocab words, you're going to want to line them up sometimes onto the blackboard so that they can be visually seen all at once. You can line them up with either just magnets. You should be provided magnets by your school. Or you can buy magnetic sheets, which then you can cut out little rectangles. One side is covered in glue, so you stick it onto the clear file, and then the other side's a magnet, and just stick. Done. I'm kind of lazy, and all my schools have magnets, so I actually don't do this too much. I just have a couple like that. Most of them are just normal, though, and easy. Okay, so yeah, clear files, done. Okay, another useful tool are just, I guess not useful tool as so much as another idea, is if you're going to do a presentation where you need to somehow color code or just code things, using colored paper is really good because you see like, oh, it's a 100-point question, and 100-point questions are in orange. The question is, who's that Pokemon or something? I'm not going to talk about the game itself or why I have that, whatever. I'm just going to show you that you can borrow construction paper or color paper from the school, and they will be pretty abundant, because it's a school, they'll have a lot of this stuff. You will have access to glue, staplers, a printer, of course, copier. You can make like 100 copies at once for whatever you want to do. Easy. Laminator, and just like 3 different types of machines that cut paper so that if you need a certain size, you can make a lot of that size, because color paper and stuff especially will come in a huge size. It's like, like this big. So you'll be good. You'll be good with manipulating paper and making materials. Stuff like this right here. Like this is just paper where the word was typed and printed just like that, and then you laminate it more magnets on the back, and bam. So it's like, let's see, what day is it? Kids will take this, and then you come over here, and you're like, it's Wednesday, yay. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you can make stuff like this. I'm not actually sure what this is. Oh, I think this is just an image printed on a giant magnet sheet. So like I showed you before, those magnetic sheets will look like this. So you just cut these yourselves, or just cut it like this big and make your own thing like that. So not bad. Okay. So the next tool are televisions, and I'm not gonna lie, you probably won't need to use this. You will probably never use it. And if you do use it, I would really, 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 really recommend waiting. I used the television maybe 3 times. Once just for some music, for a game. And then the other 2 times was for like a special class where we just played a really simple cartoon for the kids. It was just, yeah, you won't really need to use it. There's really no time to use it. You have to set it up and hook up a laptop to it. It's so much of a hassle. Then you have to put it in the front of the class, and once you're done with it, you got to roll it all the way somewhere else. It's super unnecessary. So yeah, I just walked over here because I wanted to write something. Let me get my chalk, which is of course provided by the school. I did. Come on. Okay. So this is now gonna be the tips. Yeah, tips. When you write a W, yeah, in uppercase, it'll look like that. And you might have been taught lowercase to look kind of like this. In Japan, though, their lowercase w is just this. I'm looking at the camera. I'm not actually looking at my writing. Okay, there we go. So if you do this, which they're not familiar with, they'll just assume you wrote a big ass onto the blackboard. And so every time I do that lowercase w, which I'm normally used to doing, they're like, wow, they're like, ketsu. And I'm like, which means but. I'm like, no. So just do this. It saves you so much hassle. What else? The number 4, right? They are used to this. I always write it like this. And so they keep thinking this is 9. I don't know why. They're just like, 9. I'm like, no, that's a 4. So if you already write it like this, that's good. If you write it like this, you might have to explain it. Or, this counts as 4 too, so either way, that's what they're used to. That's gonna be the hardest for them. They'll probably assume that's 4. They'll be like, your handwriting sucks, so just be aware of that. Okay, so I'm gonna end today's video with a Japanese lesson. This is urusai. Urusai means loud or noisy. This is a very frequently heard word as an ALT in elementary school because it's the equivalent of Americans saying shut up. This is what the teachers will say basically to the kids, urusai, and they're not telling them to shut up. They're telling them that they're loud and noisy, which is basically an indirect way of saying shut up. So why is this important? 1, if you hear the teacher say this, there is a good chance they'll follow up with like a lecture. And so if you're just trying to teach, they're being loud and you're like, okay guys, pay attention. And then the teacher's like, urusai, and all the kids start, just clamming up. Give the teacher a moment and see if the teacher's gonna, lecture the children. You don't want to keep talking while the teacher's like, going in full speech mode, like, you should be quiet, it's disrespectful to others, and blah, 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 blah. It's gonna be in Japanese too, of course, so if you don't know Japanese and you don't understand what they're saying, then definitely pay attention to this word, urusai, because the teacher will be like, urusai! And then, of course, at that point, you'll probably know by feeling that you should also be quiet, so yeah, just something to keep an eye out for. A fun fact, you're not allowed to discipline kids on most occasions as an ALT. You're not supposed to get angry, like ever. You can't go like, shh, and like look at any of the kids and tell them to be quiet. That's usually also not okay, meaning you pretty much have no control in the disciplining factor as an ALT. It's all the homeroom teacher. And so if the kids are being really loud, you just go on like normal. Or you could do the silent thing. You can just stop talking. And then the teacher will pick up on the fact that you're annoyed, and then the teacher will then from there execute the punishment, or just yelling or whatever. And the thing is, though, if the teacher doesn't discipline the kids, that doesn't let you discipline the kids, right? So you don't get to discipline the kids if the teacher doesn't do anything. If the teacher does nothing, you just carry on. And if the kids are, not even paying attention or whatever, then after the class, try to talk to the teacher. And if it's like the teacher's inability to discipline the kids, you might have to go even higher up to like the principal or vice principal or whatever. Last year, I had one teacher, brand new to elementary school. She was a middle school teacher. They're way more disciplined, way more quiet, and more respectful. First time in elementary. Very quiet, also very short in stature. And therefore, the kids could never hear her when she got angry. She was just not respected whatsoever. So every time the kids came in here for English, the kids would start like wrestling, playing tag. I literally mean they would just, instead of sitting there all in a row, they'd just, go running around crazy and like grabbing things off of shelves and throwing shit. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word. But anyway, so yeah, they would be very, very uncontrollable. I could literally do nothing. I just sat there getting really angry and just holding it in. And then at some point we had like the principal and vice principal just stand in the class, just in the back right there, looking at the kids and then yelling at the kids because the homeroom teacher couldn't do it. You have very, very little authority. But let's say you're in the same school for like 2 years or at the end of your first year, you can kind of get away with doing more things. Like for me, I can actually just go shh now, and the kids will, I don't go straight shh. Sometimes I'm like, shh, listen, like pay attention. I'll just try to overpower their noisiness with my noisiness, which then makes them pay attention without me directly being, I guess, angry sounding. And so, yeah, that's just one strategy. Another strategy, if they're being too loud, is to clap your hands in a rhythm, and then they'll start clapping in a rhythm. And so, like, let's say they're like, la, 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 and you're like, and then they'll do it, doon, 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 and then you do another pattern, and then more of the kids that aren't paying attention will start doing the pattern too, and they're like, oh, this is fun, and then you have their attention, and then you can continue your lesson. Something I learned from my training camp, really useful. That being said, let's just end the video. It's getting a little long. Alright, so I'm going to end today's video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, and if there's anything else you want me to talk about, or you just want to say hi, say it in the comments below. I love responding to those. I don't have too many people commenting right now, so I'll probably respond to you. So, yeah. I'm not going to be able to promise, by the way, when I can make new videos, because I make these after my last lessons in my schools, but depending on the school, it's way harder to make a video because, for instance, my Monday, Thursday school, there's a classroom right next to the English room, and they can hear me talk if I talk like this. This room is super isolated from the rest of the building, and therefore I can easily make a video like this and no one will be able to tell. So yeah, just heads up, I won't always be able to make a video. Okay, so that being said, I'll see you whenever I can. Okay, so I'm actually going home now, and I wanted to mention, because I just reminded myself while riding my bike, is that your lifestyle is going to affect your ability to carry certain materials to your schools, because I only have a bicycle. So this means that if you want to make an awesome giant cardboard presentation, you're either going to have to carry it from school to school, or you're going to have to make 3 of them at once per lesson, or 3 or 4 depending on how many schools you go to. If you go to 6 schools, you want to really make 6 of the same thing, giant, awesome, complicated presentations. So I understand if you want to be a really awesome teacher, that you want to make some really super visually epic things, but try to consider the fact that depending on your situation, you might not be able to. So that's why I also favor the clear files, because the clear files will be portable. I put them in my backpack over here. My backpack goes in my basket, and I'm done. And I just go wherever I want. I can teach immediately. It's really good. So yeah, just a small little side note. And I hope you're enjoying the town. I'm in like a residential area, so there's not really too much to see. I think I just passed by that rice paddy though, so that was cool. Alright, so before this gets any more dangerous, I'm just gonna stop filming now. So yeah, see you in the next video. See you.